Hello. So I got a new project. I initially wanted to buy a crappy motorcycle to fix up, and I was scrolling through Craigslist, and I go, that's too nice, this one looks too good, and I kept scrolling and I saw this one. I went, wow, it's a pretty awful looking bike. And I went past it and then I went, wait a minute, I'm looking for an awful looking bike. So quick went up, took a look at it, ran over to the seller with a friend, had some issues with the hitch, but oh well. Finally get over there, the guy has the wrong title. He's got a title for a frame that's like one number off. It was just a whole ordeal. And what wound up happening was, as you can see, I got the bike. But I got the bike and then two others. So I have one bike with a title where it's signed as sold, but he never got a new title. So that's an ordeal. This bike has no title, and this frame back here has a title. So I now need to take everything from this bike, not in a nice blue sweater, and transfer it to the new bike. Maybe in a blue sweater, I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. But it's a 1983 Honda CB550SC, which I think is the Nighthawk. At least that's what the side panel says. So I don't know. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but that's what I wanted. I wanted kind of like a project thing to work on. And let's take a quick, just a tour around the bike, see what we're looking at. So you've got some pretty rusted up forks. I'm gonna have to work on that for a little bit. Here's frame number one with title that has been signed, doesn't work, it's not very happy. Here's the frame that I will be using. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit and figure out what's going on there. Here's the one side of the bike. I've got the battery out. I took a look inside. None of the fluid levels are even remotely correct, so I'm just gonna have to go get some distilled water. Maybe I can get it up to 12 volts just to run some accessories. The bike itself does actually turn on. I'm clearly not running at 6,000 RPMs though, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. I think, yep, there it goes. Now it's starting making a lovely sound. I gotta figure out what's going on there. But you can see this tank is completely rusted. Looks like absolute garbage. The inside is okay though. Got a couple dents. There's one around here. The engine is a little bit pitted, but nothing some light brushing and cleaner can't help. So this is a 550cc engine with 4 carburetors. It's four-cylinder engine. Front disc, rear drum, shaft drive. I didn't actually know that. I do have the seat. The seat is under my my regular bike around the corner. That's a Suzuki Intruder 800. Beautiful, beautiful condition. It's really nice. The let's see what else we got here. We got some pitting on the back. It looks like it's got droopy, sad ears, basically. When you look at it from the front, it's like a sad puppy dog. But hopefully by the time I'm done with it, it'll be a happy puppy dog. But I've got one good turn light. I don't think any of them work. And the tires are basically completely shot. I'm going to have to get new tires eventually. Probably not for just for a road test or anything. I do have a little bit of a spot here that's going to need some attention. I don't know what to do there. I'll probably just have to get a new exhaust pipe. Both frames look pretty solid though. Just basic surface rust. Nothing that some sanding, maybe some sandblasting and repriming and painting can't help. But this is going to be a project. This is not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun, and that's the most important part. So that's the brief overview of the new project. I'm going to try and document it as best I can in a little series, just have some fun with it. Maybe take my time, maybe not take my time, show some things, not show some things, whatever. But, oh, the brakes just go straight to the floor, so that's fun. But just going to have some fun with it, document it along the way, make a little series, and have some fun. So, stay tuned. So, as you can see, the bike is in a different state than I left it about 2 hours ago. I decided let's start from the let's just start from anywhere. So I started at the battery. I got the battery out. It's sitting on the side there charging. I don't think I'm gonna let that charge overnight, just because you never know. So I'll turn that off later tonight, and then I said, okay, I've got some fuses. I'm sorry, not some fuses. I've got some electrical leads. So what I did was I put everything in a bag and marked it right side. I've got the negative wire, the plus wire, and a 30-amp fuse. And then the left side, I've got the voltage regulator connector holster. So I've just got that in its own little bag. I took apart a transmission once with my father and know how important it is to label things so you don't forget, because I could go look at this back in 10 weeks and be like, I got no idea. I also have some parts here in a bin. I've got the mirrors off, the left and right turn signals, the side plates. I got the voltage regulator and a little control box here. Get that to focus. I think it's another kind of 12-volt regulator, and it actually surprisingly comes apart. I don't think it's supposed to. So it comes apart. You can definitely see some corrosion there, some contacts that need to be cleaned up. I might just buy a new one. Not sure what this is, so if you know, let me know. I'll probably just find it in the manual once the service manual arrives. That's due to arrive in about a week. So when that gets here, that'll make life a little bit more easy. I'm going to just put this back together. Like I said, hopefully this isn't expensive and I can just find another one. Honda parts are usually pretty inexpensive, just because they made so many of these. So like I said, I'll just come around the side. I got a little seat. Took the battery out. There's a little fuse holder here. That's where the main 30-amp fuse sits. This connector right here goes to my brake sensor. And then I've got just some various wires running around. If it's just sitting right here and there's only one part that sits here, I know it's pretty obvious. This is the vent for the brake. You can see that this is all cracked and corroded, so I'm going to have to get a new one of them. Oops. I got parts falling on me. I did take off some of the rear components. That one 12-volt regulator piece was sitting right in here. If you're ever doing this yourself, I recommend loosening the right bolt and then swiveling a little bit so that you can get to the left bolt. Otherwise, I was having some difficulty getting it off. If you come back to the rear here, one thing I did was in any wire cluster, I put like rear lights on it. I've got this nifty oil pen, just an oil-based pen, and it's difficult to wipe off, so it won't just smear off with your hand grease. I think I had another piece over here. Yeah, I've got another piece that I put, what did I write here? Rear lights on the right side. I think this is either for main power, or maybe when it, what's it called? Like when you hit the brake and it needs extra power. Some of these wires back here, I think I've got, three total hookups, where one is going to be for the license plate light, the running brake light and when you apply the brake light. So I think that's what I've got back there. You can see I've got the 4 carburetors you can see the top of. 2 of them are pretty clean on the outside. These 2 here on the middle are really dirty, pretty dusty and cruddy on the outside. This is just full of rust in here. I'm sorry, not rust. Just full of dust and crud. You can see though when I pull the throttle that it all opens up. It's pretty mushy, so obviously I'm going to have to clean that up, make it nice and pretty. Let's see what I got over here. This is where we had the voltage regulator was mounted right here. Pop that guy off. There's a nifty little bracket that goes here. That's that one piece in my parts box that I dropped off. So there's also this really nifty like storage bin. I couldn't figure out what this thing right here was. I knew it looked like it had a handle here, so I knew something had to be up. But it looks like if you flip this up, turn this to the right, you've actually got a little storage bin in there. Now nothing's in there, I assume. Probably the factory, you know, toolkit went in there or something. So just close that back up and shut that. Oops. Oops. Oh well. I have to fool with that later. I haven't really touched anything else over here. I think what I will probably do is take some of that wiring up top out, and then from there I will just lay it in a box. Then I will probably take off some of the plastic to expose getting inside of the frame so I can get some of the larger pieces out. It looks like there's either a carbon filter here or an air filter or something, but you can see it looks pretty disgusting in there. I think this is where things go to die in this bike, but it's just some kind of either carbon or air filter. It's a heck of a place to put an air filter. I know it's covered, but you're right here by the rear tire. But you can also see just the state of the engine. There's some light pitting going on, so I'm going to either have to sandblast that or wire brush that down just to get a clean surface. The tank, I forgot about the gas tank. The gas tank just came right off. You can actually see right here, this is the fuel line, which is cracked completely. So that's probably why the guy couldn't start it for me that day. I think this is just a breather valve. I'm not really sure. A couple of different hoses on here that are just cracked and in a state of disrepair. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. So I'm just chugging along and trying to figure out what's the best thing to take off. What's a good starting point, getting everything off, put it in bags, organize it, make sure that if I have any notes, I'm taking tons of pictures because I know routing these wires and everything later on is going to be a pain in the butt. So I'm trying to save myself some headaches and hassles now. Like I said, taking pictures, writing down this goes underneath this piece of metal or framework. If I have taken off a bolt, I'll just put it right back on in the location, or if it comes off with the piece, like the turn signals, I'll just screw the nut back on then. So I think the next thing for me to do, like I said, get this wiring out of here and start taking off extra pieces of the frame that I don't need in preparation for getting the engine out. Well, that's all I'm doing for tonight. Trying to not stay up super late working on this. I don't have any serious deadlines. Just would like to get it running. Maybe running by end of year. Right now it's December 4th. So this is day one of working on this guy. So we'll see where we go from here. Thanks.